Hey, Walt runs
What?
above just called me. Should I call him back live?
Okay. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah. See what happens.
Hello?
Hey, what's going on?
You left us on a cliffhanger. What the hell?
What do you mean?
You just shut off the live? What the hell? I was like sitting here waiting for you guys to pinpoint what was being said at what happened.
Hey, man, we're
That's
recording
purposeful.
right now. That's the whole point.
Gotta
You
listen.
left us on a cliffhanger. You can't do that.
Hey, man. We had to.
We have to monetize this. We got to
You gotta
monetize
give
this.
us
We need
more of a
listeners.
preview.
Yeah. We gave you a trailer, man.
There wasn't no trailer. You didn't even say anything in the trailer.
I'm gonna look it up.
You're
I'm
on.
gonna look it up. Just gonna look it up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
look up NCAI incident or whatever, and we're gonna talk about it. And you'll just have to wait 7 weeks for the episode.
You just have to hang on the cliff.
6 to 8 weeks.
Yeah.
6 to 8 weeks. If it goes any longer, give us a call. No, we're Did you hear me say you had to cook dinner? Cook me some goulash. I'll come up and we'll visit.
Yeah, spaghetti.
Do it. I've been waiting for like 2 years for you to invite me over for dinner.
Shit, we told you like 3 times. Oh,
Remember, Walter does that invitation thing. He invites me over to dinner, but doesn't tell me where he lives.
Or he invites you, tells you where he lives, and then he's not home.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, bro. Sorry, bro.
yeah, you can't be leaving us on a cliffhanger. What is that thing again? NCAI.
Yeah, National Congress of the American Indian. Look it up. But we're recording right now, so.
Fatally stabbed teen was trying to defuse a fight. That one?
No, but that may.
It might be.
That might be. Send me the link. Send me the link right now. But we.
Yeah. Send us all the link.
Yeah, we need the link. We're gonna talk about it right now.
That's a wicked cliffhanger. I hope my arms can hold on that long. You got it? NCAI.
He's still looking for it. Dude, just send him the link. Send him the link. Just put him on the podcast. No, just kidding. If that took too much time, you can take it off.
Oh no, we're gonna leave it. It's a
Edit
good one.
it.
It's impromptu.
Impromptu.
I like impromptu.
Well, it
Okay.
was almost
Yeah.
It was almost like a good segue, like Walt asking why we left them hanging.
Yeah, it is. It is. So yeah, this is the deal. And we've been what? You got some? Cut me off. What you got?
I got it transcribed.
Oh my gosh.
What is it? Oh, you got it transcribed.
Yeah.
Well, read it.
Okay, you
Are you
ready?
gonna give us context first or no?
No.
All
I'm
right,
just
go
gonna
for it.
read it. You're
Okay,
gonna
let's read
give
it.
the context after. It says
I'll try. Okay.
says, I apologize to all the state tribes in here, but NCAI gave you the false hope that we are all the same. We are not. We are federally recognized for a reason. We fought these wars while you guys sat on the sidelines and waited until the dust had settled. You guys are coming out of the woodwork to start being Indian. The crowd starts booing. And then he says, well, get some federal recognition. There's a process. End quote. That was a quote from the Southern Ute tribal chairman.
I don't think
know
it's
his
Southern
name.
Ute.
No, not
Southern Ute.
Northern
Ute.
Ute. Just Ute.
Just Ute.
Oh, I didn't know there was a. Okay, so just Ute, the Ute chairman.
Mhm.
That I get that pretty clear.
Yeah.
And I don't know the difference. I'm not familiar with that region a whole lot.
Difference or deference.
Yeah.
Both.
Yeah. So we haven't really talked about this a whole lot. We kind of skirt around it, and it's related to identity. Well, we talked about it a little bit.
Oh, give the context. Give the context though.
Oh, the context. So I think it's annual, right? This convention or this Congress, the National Congress of the American Indian. So admittedly, I'm unfamiliar with what this organization does. I'm unfamiliar with how often they meet. I think they meet once a year, maybe I don't know. Okay, Salisha's saying no. I'm not sure how many members they have or what tribes are involved. So I'm going in pretty ignorant. So let's start there. Pretty ignorant. But apparently there's an amendment to their constitution, their bylaws. I don't know. Apparently this organization has bylaws and a constitution. I don't know. It's a big organization, so they have to have some sort of written rules, which is kind of odd to me right off. Well, I don't know. And the amendment is to remove state recognized tribes as voting members from the Congress of the is it Congress of the American Indian or National Congress of the okay. That's as far as I know. And I got this seen this on Twitter, this little clip of this gentleman making a statement, and a number of other tribal representatives made not a statement to that effect, but again supporting the amendment, saying that I'm for this amendment. State recognized tribes should not have voting power in this Congress. So he's not the only one. He's just the one who's happened to get blasted on Twitter, or X, formerly known as Twitter.
Or he's the one. He's the one who went up there and said it.
Yeah. So this is what I'm curious about, and maybe Salisha or Aaron can clarify. But I was curious when I heard that. I thought, well, what is this process, and what does a tribe have to do to get federally recognized? And there's seven criteria, mandatory criteria, and apparently only four are really the most difficult. And those criteria are, number one, and this one seems like straightforward, that a tribe or the petitioner, whoever's trying to get federal recognition, should demonstrate that it has been identified as an American Indian entity on a substantially continuous basis since 1900. Criteria number one. That's fair, right? That's like saying you can't just all of a sudden claim to be a tribe if you hadn't been since, and I don't know why 1900, but I guess 1900. What do you weigh in on that? Is that fair? Unfair? Maybe this is not something we need to talk about.
I don't know. I have to hear the rest of them because
let's hear the rest.
I'm pretty rusty.
Let's hear the rest. There's some problems here, even from the get-go, on a conceptual basis, though, right? On a conceptual basis.
Well, the whole idea of recognition is weird anyway, but do the rest. Okay.
Yeah. Number two is show that a predominant portion of the petitioning group comprises a distinct community and has existed as a community from historical times until present. What are historical?
For them, they already said it in the first one. It's 1900.
Yeah, that's kind of redundant, right?
So it's redundant.
Okay.
Yeah.
Redundant.
Feels redundant.
It does.
Feels redundant.
Redundant. Number three. Now this is a kind of a tough one here. Demonstrate that it has maintained political influence or authority over its members as an autonomous entity from historical times until present. So again, historical times, I don't know, but maintain political influence or authority over its members as an autonomous entity. Okay. Number four, provide a copy of the group's present governing document, including its membership criteria. Okay. All right. This is getting kind of crazy here to me. Anyway, number five. So this is all just for a tribe, right? To get federal recognition. procedures for establishing that an American Indian group exists as an Indian tribe. That's what it is. All right, number 5, demonstrate that its membership consists of individuals who descended from the historical Indian tribes or from historical Indian tribes, tribe or tribes that combined and functioned as a single autonomous political entity and provided a current membership list. Number 6, show that the membership of the petitioning group is comprised principally of persons who are not members of any acknowledged North American Indian tribe. And finally, number 7, demonstrate that either the petitioner nor its members are the subject of congressional legislation that has expressly terminated or forbidden the federal relationship. Okay, if the criteria is considered met, if the available evidence establishes a reasonable likelihood of the validity of the facts related to that criterion, then they're federally recognized. All right, go. Tell me your gripes. You had them.
Yeah, there's part of the list is like a chicken, what comes first, the chicken or the egg question.
Okay.
And so the issue is there's tribes that try to get federally recognized that were displaced during reservation era.
Right.
And because of whatever disagreement that they had in a political context with like tribes that they would normally ally with,
Right.
somehow they would get split because how hard it was during that time.
Yeah.
And so those tribes, when it came down to the federal government coming in and doing the allotment, they didn't get assigned anywhere because they were traveling or because they couldn't partner with their normal partners, like something come up and they decide to go this direction or that direction, or maybe they just weren't getting along, or who knows. Anyway, so those would be like landless tribes, and they never got assigned anywhere. So there's a tribe like that in Montana, and and it seems like, okay, I'm getting ahead of myself, but the criteria that is there, one of them says something about proving historical context, one of them says something about political history. Well, they're supposed to provide like evidence of this, and then when they submit those things, it goes to Washington DC, and it gets put on a pile of like, somebody has to review these applications, and
some intern,
I don't know, somebody reviews it, and always one of those things, it's like a circular argument. It's like you can't prove that you had this if you didn't have the documentation, like let's say what was early documentation, like a treaty. Like you can't, like if you were omitted from the treaty, then you don't have documentation. But the whole purpose is they're trying to say, well, that's what we're trying to tell you is we didn't get, not that they wanted a treaty, but it's like, well, we didn't get on that, and so we don't have a documentation to show you. Like we just know that we were here. And so the arguments now, what it comes down to is because some states, the tribe is on a, like, they don't rely on like casino income or anything like that. They're like a resource. It's more like a resource income, like a dam or something weird like that, where it's a very small income and it gets distributed in some states. Or maybe it is a casino, who knows? Anyway, it comes down to the breakdown of resources, that even though there's like oral history, or even though there's there might be some documentation written like, oh yeah, there was this band that went off. So in Montana, it was like over by Great Falls. The Little Shell tribe is one that's a state recognized tribe. Even though like the surrounding tribes would have stories about their existence, that circular argument comes back, and so the politics becomes, or the politics becomes like, well, it comes down to resources. Like,
right.
Like a tribe doesn't want to accept a whole group of an entire group of like descendants or descendant of that tribe, or they don't want to accept that in, because then that means you have to split the resources with that tribe. And people don't like to talk about that, but that's really what it always is like, and those are like the politicians of the tribe, you know, like the politicians will say like, well, they don't ever say it, but it usually always comes down to money. Like people don't want to let go of any type of money that is coming in. And so then they do this, like, don't want to aid the tribe to get accepted. But in this instance with the National Congress, I think it's a little bit unfair. Like, I'm just gonna say it's a little bit unfair, because there's some tribes that legitimately have been fighting for pretty much forever, trying to get some type of recognition, and to have somebody say that they're just now trying to be native or whatever he said, it's super insulting, because it's like, well, they've been trying. It's just that the criteria that the federal government has, which hasn't been changed, it's really hard to get the evidence that they want, and in the way that they want it, in order to be federally recognized. And it's even become to the point where probably in the last 10 years, existing federally recognized tribes have fought to disenroll or unrecognized tribes for whatever reason.
Right.
So that's happened. I can't remember the name of that tribe that got unrecognized, but in eastern United States.
So it boils down to this idea of recognition, and this criteria that's put in place by the federal government. So then I don't know. I have a hard time. I get it. I get the argument, right? So federal recognition opens up the doorway to resources.
Yeah.
That's all it does, right? That's all recognition does. Is that a good summary?
Well, for now, yeah. I mean, you get right. Yeah. So if something happens at the federal level, which to me doesn't seem very often, I feel like the last time that tribes got a real anything from the federal level was when Cobell came through, the Cobell settlement, and everybody got money from that. Like, lots of people got money from that.
Well, not just these settlements, but Indian Health Service, small business owners, anything related to federal dollars for Indian tribes. All that opens up once you get recognition. That's right. I mean, is that right? That's what I think. I mean, Aaron, is that true?
I don't know.
Well, okay, I'm going to say that's true. Once you're federally recognized, you get
certain
resources.
allocations happen. Yes, I do.
Yeah. I mean, that's why else would you do it? Well, no, I shouldn't say that.
Yeah.
I'm saying getting federally recognized puts the obligation onto the federal government.
Yeah.
To fold you into its wing as a ward.
Well, so here's
a ward of its
Right.
nest or something. Yeah, I don't know.
Well, and
In
the
the
twisted
bosom of
You
the
get to be
federal
in the
government.
Yeah.
bosom. Yeah.
Well,
yeah,
so the twisted part about it is, what do we learn in college? Is that we're the Indian problem. That's what we're taught in college. Right? We're the Indian problem, and so we're kind of preached that, and like that's how the federal government thought of us, and I feel like that's how we're still kind of treated in the United
Right.
States. In the United
Right.
States, we're still treated like, I don't know, we're not treated right anyway. So if the backwards thing is that they had systemic things in place to try to terminate us so they can just call us just straight American and take away all anything that makes us who we are. And we're all twisted up because on one side we get mad because we're on the pedigree system, and on the other hand we don't want to let go of that because then we can't call ourselves, federally recognized if we don't abide by that. And they got us in this weird little bind, but like in the beginning, that whole the things that they put in place were meant to do it where we're supposed to be terminated eventually. We were supposed to be self-governing, whatever, but not federally recognized, not dependent on them. Like they weren't going to help us with anything, but we're not as far along as some places, like we don't get, I don't know. I feel like I'm getting too emotionally invested.
You're getting preachy.
I know.
You're getting too preachy.
I know.
Well, okay. Well, let's break this down because it's complicated. It's complicated once you start tangling in with federal things. When you start tangling in with treaty language, I mean, it gets into this place I don't like to go, man. Right. I don't like it. I don't like it at all. But fundamentally, the issue that I see is no matter what, this idea of recognition, like it's upheld, at least in this comment, as some sort of hierarchy of who's who in Indian country. If you're federally recognized, then apparently the United States government, who's got a lot of dollars and then, accepts you as a ward of the state, has an opportunity and obligation to take care of you. That's what recognition feels like to me. So when I read these criteria for acknowledgement of recognition, I mean, I think, well, yeah, I mean, if you have all those things in place, then what's the big deal? Why do you even want to be recognized? Half of the tribes we have right now, I don't think fit that criteria. I mean, are we together? Are we an autonomous group? I mean, the one that struck me was, where was it? It was a group comprised of a distinct community. I mean, yeah, I don't know. But there's like this idea of a sort of tribal lifestyle that's being maintained. And I don't necessarily feel like that's completely honest and true today. I don't know. Aaron, what do you think?
All right. Here we go. I'm getting the mic up.
You get that mic fixed up. And
well, first of all,
tell me your thoughts.
First of all, I thought this would be a funner topic.
Well, it can be. It can be.
No, okay, so I think we should be real clear for those people who aren't from our country or even understand the very basics of the tribal situation here. The term federally recognized, as you said, just implies that there's a fiduciary responsibility on behalf of the government,
right,
for a variety of things: healthcare, education, annuity, right? And there's this in the easiest way to explain it is that whether there was a deal made, whether it was a good deal or not is not the point. It's just this agreement that we're not gonna go to the reservation, but we were forced onto reservations. But on that, now we became the responsibility in theory of the federal government. Now, I tried looking it up. I don't know of any state processes to be a state recognized tribe.
Right.
How you identify your federal recognition is your tribe will have a criteria for enrollment to become a member of the tribe. You get a little card, says your blood quantum and everything.
Yeah.
Tribes, it's typically 1/4, but it varies from tribe to tribe in terms of traceable native blood.
Yeah.
Okay.
Take a breath, man. Take a breath. You need some food. You need some food.
Well, I started thinking when Salisha was talking, I started thinking like, man, imagine trying to explain this to somebody or to like a 7-year-old or like, because it doesn't make any sense.
Right.
When I used to teach history of Indians in the US at SKC, I would start the course off with, if you're looking for the situation of tribes today to make sense through this history, you're in the wrong class. It's not going to make any sense. There's things that'll happen through the course of this class, even though they're based on a timeline, they're not going to make any sense because there wasn't a rationale for some of this behavior.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And which led to policy, right?
Yep.
So, but we're getting ahead of ourselves because the situation at the National Congress was not about the process of federal recognition or state recognition. It was a little more simple.
Yeah.
It was whether or not the state recognized tribes should be allowed to be participants in the National Congress of the American Indian.
Yeah.
And my argument is like, why can't they? Why can't they join the circus? Like, I don't get it. I just don't get it. It's like, it's a club. First of all, I'm going to say something that's pretty controversial.
Let's say it.
Okay.
The National Congress of the American Indian is typically not tribal people that have the best interests of tribal people at the forefront.
Yeah.
The Congress has become this club of people, for whatever reason, to play government. It's a form of
okay.
It's a form of like high toning and prestige, and it's kind of this like by the fort mentality again. It's still this like let's go beg for scraps at the foot of the crown. And I don't understand why we still think that this Congress is thinking of us here in Indian country. And I do think the philosophy or the mission of it and its intent may have been good. But if it's become a place where tribal leaders feel like they can belittle state recognized tribes when not knowing the state's tribes situation. Like Salisha said, the Little Shell Band of the Ojibwe, which is now a federally recognized tribe, because of timing and history and situation, circumstance, was not part of the process during that time. That doesn't mean they're not tribal. It doesn't mean they're any less tribal than me or you. And in fact, I would say the majority of federally recognized tribes today are not tribal.
Right. As I was mentioning.
And myself included, right? Like I'm right in there. And so I don't understand why this good old boys club can't just say the more the merrier. If we really are acting on behalf of all tribal people, then why not let them come? Maybe encourage them to fulfill that federal recognition, if that's even what they want. the Menominee Nation actually fought against federal recognition.
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember that. There was this kind of this
I
whole
do.
thing, and I think they're federally recognized again, but
Yeah.
you have tribes that were terminated during termination, but yet the termination process was a hell of a lot quicker than the application process for recognition. So I don't understand, like, there's no rhyme or reason for some of this.
Yeah.
So for, I don't know the chairman for the Ute tribe, and I personally don't have anything against him. Part of me, because I like chaos sometimes, was like, damn, this guy, that took, maybe, I don't know what happened to lead him to say those comments, because maybe something happened that he thought, I need to say this. This needs to happen. So context plays a big part. We don't know the context, but I know me personally, I would never say that a state recognized tribe is any less Indian than me.
Right.
Because even though I've dedicated a large portion of my life to being a cultural person, I feel less Indian than a lot of people. You know what I mean? So it's not like I can go and look. I can't look at somebody and say that tribe's not native.
Right.
Yeah.
Because I tell you what, man, when I'm sitting in meetings with my little blazer jacket on, my little sport coat, and my little notepad, and
your fancy
I don't
coffee
feel very
cup.
Indian. Dude, my fancy coffee cup. I don't feel very Indian there.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, so
your ribbon suit.
Why can't? My
suit.
ribbon suit. I got my ribbon suit on. I don't understand this, like, that mentality of like, well, we're the ones closest to the fort. You can't join us because you're gonna take my powdered eggs. Shit, let them have them.
Yeah.
If they want mediocre health care, they can have it.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean,
if you want, what's his name, Dr. Giggles? You want
Dr.
Dr. Giggles? Go ahead.
Me personally, I would encourage state recognized tribes to find another way to be successful, find another way to make it, because the Fed route is not necessarily the way to go.
Yeah.
But for some reason, we've bought into this idea that the federal recognition makes us native, and it doesn't. It doesn't. We're the only people that do it. I don't understand it sometimes. Just like, Shandin, let me use you as an example.
Okay. Do it.
Are you okay with me sharing some of your ancestry?
Ancestry.com. Yeah, do it.
Well,
I don't care.
Your father's Navajo.
Yeah.
And your mother's from Arlie. She's from the Bitterroot band of the Salish.
Yeah.
But she's also mixed, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Her dad is Norwegian.
Yep, her dad's Norwegian. So you've identified your entire life as a Salish person.
Yeah.
Okay. Most people that I know would recognize you as a Salish person. I don't know anyone that's like, oh, Shandin, the Navajo guy. Like, I've never heard that ever. Even though your name Shandin Pete is very Navajo, you know?
Yeah.
That's funny.
It's still like we think of you not only being Salish, but being like kind of one of the younger people that are heavily involved in that culture, the identity. At no point was I ever like, you know, Shandin, I need to see your ID. Like,
I need to check your federal recognition.
If we're gonna do this, I mean, I really need to know that you're legit. Like, I never did that. And myself, like, I'm not a full-blooded Crow Indian.
Right.
So I actually have ancestry from the Little Shell, right? So does that make me less Crow? Like, I feel like it doesn't. You know what makes me less Crow?
Yeah. It doesn't.
We're all less than what we should be.
Yeah.
I'm not kidding.
Like it's the identity, it's the cultural part of it that I'm worried about.
It's so messed up, because it's like before all of that happened, we married all kinds of people because nobody was ever going to be 100%. That's crazy talk.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
It
nor
is. You're
was.
right. You're
Nor
right.
was. Yeah.
You're totally right.
So this, okay, yeah.
We're
go
all
ahead.
mixed. All three of us here are mixed.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And I don't feel like at any point did I look at you or Salisha and think, you know what, it kind of it devalues them for me a little bit because it's like my kids, their mother's Blackfeet. Does that mean that like they're less Crow or less or more or whatever?
Yeah.
And that's not how the world works. Like when when you live in Indian country and you're doing the work to be native, that I think that argument's not happening with yourself. It's only when you step outside of the cultural world and you're in that fringed idea when that identity thing's real.
Yeah.
But when you're in Salish doings, you feel pretty Salish, I'm sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You don't feel like I gotta sit on the side where only the half-breeds sit. Like it's not a thing. So when it comes down to being native, your enrollment card doesn't have anything to do with it. I will say there is something to be said for ancestry, like where your blood and your heritage does come from.
Mm-hmm.
Does that mean it needs to be quantified?
No,
I don't think so. Yeah, I would agree. I don't think so. Those who know, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And I feel like somebody who attacks state recognized tribes, albeit I don't know the situation, is somebody who themselves has identity problems.
Might be.
Is albeit Latin?
Is that Latin?
I don't know.
Albeit. I get it. This is what I got from what you're saying. And I want to interject like a feeling that I get. And I know that some people get it too. And I'm sure this person who said this probably has the same feeling. But I think you're right. It goes a lot deeper into the human psychology of what we do and how we say it, because we have some reservation about something that I forgot what I was saying. Something that bothers us, and it gives us a I don't know. We just get this instinct about things. It might be wrong, it might be right, but our emotion takes over. So we all get bothered when we see a group of people trying to be what is obviously not an authentic version of themselves, right? Like remember when I was a kid, we used to call people posers. Do you remember posers? Yeah. Because we were all metal, hardcore metal. And then we seen somebody who, they went and bought an Iron Maiden t-shirt and because it was trendy. That guy was a poser because it didn't.
Well, probably not Iron Maiden. It's probably Metallica.
Oh, well, yeah, you know what? Well, see, the entryway into heavy metal is vast. Okay. And Iron Maiden was one of the foundational bands into heavy metal. They're not that metal, but they got cool t-shirts.
I would say now we're heading into a whole nother argument that I frankly I'm gonna love it.
Well, no, so I'm just
No,
an
I know what you're
example.
saying.
The example is, so you're in a group who's obviously metal because you listen to Metallica, Slayer, you're a headbanger, you party on the weekends, you dress the way that you ought to as a metal person. Then you see somebody, I don't know, let's say, for example, a jock, and he starts, he buys the Black Album and gets a Metallica t-shirt. That guy's a poser because he hadn't lived the lifestyle of a metal head up to that stage. So at what point then can that person enter into the authentic metal heads? I don't know. But when you see that person and you instantly get this feeling like, oh yeah, he doesn't know what it's like to be us. And I think that situation comes up often. And the episode we had with Ryan Emmanuel, that sort of opened my eyes. I mean, not that my eyes were closed, but to it, I just didn't understand the reality of this wave of colonialism that had came in. Those people had experienced that at such a time period that we can't even understand. It feels like, but yeah. So at that reality of where we're at in the West versus where tribes are in the East, I think is vastly different. So imparting that sort of judgment, that they ought to be, hardcore heavy metal dudes it doesn't apply. It doesn't apply. But where it does apply is when people start parroting something that they're not, and that feels wrong. And we see that often, and we talked about it a while back in academics, when we get these people who don't know a whole lot, but they're writing these vast volumes about how we think and how we are, and it's off. It's way off. It's way off.
Yeah, but again, I think we're jumping the gun on this.
Okay,
we're getting too far.
Okay,
you're right, but this simply just comes down to a club.
Yeah, and that's the
Yeah.
important part. That's the important part. Yeah.
Yeah, like all the stuff you're saying is legit, and all the stuff Salisha's saying is like exactly to the point, but that's almost like a whole nother episode. Like this idea of enrollment, this idea of recognition and the process and what that means in terms of treaty, executive order, tribe, all that, right? Like it's crazy. This is a lot more simple.
Yeah.
This is a club.
Yeah.
That really has no authority.
Okay.
Like it's a club.
Do they not have authority?
Well, okay, let's back up there. They're like what is it? They're like a group of politicians. A lot of them who have leadership are politicians who they kind of do have a lot of authority, because some of them are councilmen, or in that guy's case, a business council.
Well, I think individually they have authority, but the
Yeah.
Congress themselves, I've never heard of a law being passed because of the National Congress of American Indians.
Well,
Is there?
they're like the writers. They're like the writers. They're like the authors. They'll write the language for a bill, and the bill will get brought either to, the House or the Senate. And then those words are the things that the Congress, the elected officials are reading. They're reading.
Are they almost more like a lobby group?
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, but they're like that. They're like the people who kind of, they're helping to steer the policy that the federal government is, if they decide to pass something, they're the ones who kind of are having those conversations and trying to figure out how to make those changes.
Well, let me read you the mission of the National Congress of the American Indian. Maybe this will help clarify. So it's very brief. So bullet point number 1 of the mission of the National Congress of American Indian: protect and enhance treaty and sovereign rights. Bullet point number 2: secure our traditional laws, cultures, and ways of life for our descendants. Bullet number 3: promote a common understanding of the rightful place of tribes in the family of American governments. What? And number 4: improve the quality of life for Native communities and people. Let me reread that number 3, because I didn't get that. Promote a common understanding of the rightful place of tribes in the family of American governments.
I think it's safe to say that I don't understand what the Congress does.
Yeah, they're like, it's like what you said. They're like lobbyists. They're like the ones who sort of swing around and say, like, they try to like say, well, this is what this is what different tribes want. This is what we're vying for, and they'll like go visit the offices at DC and try to get people to vote, and they'll be the one to sort of say, hey, you know, write in support of this, blah blah blah. And
apparently a unified voice of Indian countries. This is what it says on the website. Since 1944, NCAI has served as a unified voice for American Indian and Alaska Native issues. Yeah, so not really like a law passing body, but like a lobbying, it seems like.
Yeah,
helping to guide policy.
Opinion, I don't want to be a part of the group. I don't feel like I work for a tribal government.
Yeah.
I work daily within cultural resource law, which is really like, it's this toolkit of law that tribes can use. I've never heard once ever anything about the National Congress of the American Indian. Yeah. Even when I was at the National Association of Tribal Historic Preservation Officers, they never said, this is what the Congress is doing in terms of cultural resource law and how it can help tribes. Never heard of it. When I'm part of tribal consultation committee for our region, which is in North Dakota, never seen it. I don't know. I don't know what they do. Yeah. We should find a member of it.
We need to find a member, because I think, at least I feel,
or whatever. Or we can just
let's call the guy, the Ute guy.
Let's get the guy on.
Oh, ask him.
Hey, well, if he listens, do you listen? What's his name?
Why are you so mad? We said, why are you so mad? What's you so mad at?
I'll be like, bro,
why are you so mad?
Like, and to use my Crow accent, I'll say, boo, are you mad?
Like, calm down.
Why not? We need numbers, man.
Yeah. Where's your ribbon suit?
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
What about your 1.5 hour prayer this morning, or welcome and prayer?
Yeah. You remember during our invocation?
Yeah, your invocation.
Oh yeah.
What happened?
Yeah.
Yeah, bro, what happened, man?
I thought this was gonna be in a good way.
Yeah, this is the opposite of good way.
This is not the good way.
They didn't start that Congress out in a good way. That's why.
No,
they were taking our advice.
This guy went in there. And he was like, "They're gonna learn today."
Yeah. Well, you know what? There's something to be said about that, because you ought to be able to speak your mind. Like I think it's okay if he said that. What so? I don't. That doesn't mean I have to agree with him, though. Yeah, I mean, people should.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
People should feel comfortable saying things that come to their mind, but not hateful, mean.
Dude, I say crazy stuff all the time.
Yeah,
you should see me in meetings.
But you have somewhat of a filter. I said somewhat.
I mean, I wouldn't say anything like that. Like that guy.
Yeah. And that's what I mean. You have somewhat of a filter. You know decency.
Yeah, you know where to draw the line.
Decorum. I don't know if you do.
We fought these wars while you guys sat on the sidelines and waited until the dust had settled.
Wait,
you guys are coming out of work to start being Indian.
Yeah, first of all, judgy. I feel like he's like real young though. So what war did he fight? Just kidding.
Yeah, I don't know how old he is. Yeah.
I didn't see you at Dapple.
I didn't see you down at the Black Snake.
Were you arrested? Were you arrested?
I didn't see you chaining yourself to that bulldozer. I didn't see you running with the ancestors at the knee.
Yeah.
No, I just think I get what he was saying. Yeah. In a way, maybe he was trying to acknowledge, like, maybe he was trying to say something about too many players, you know, because we've all been to meetings where there's too many people and it muddies the waters. Yeah, maybe he was saying something about that. But I feel like he started out like this. He started out like, this is what I'm gonna say, and then he got caught up in the heat of the moment because he starts out with this. I apologize to all the state tribes in here, but NCAI gave you this false sense of hope. Then it just goes down.
Yeah.
It wasn't. Doesn't an apology always end with an insult? Is that how it goes? I'm sorry that I have to say this to you.
That's
Then the insult.
You know what he did?
That's the build up to the insult. Yeah.
You know what he did? He did, with all due respect. Yeah. Then you know something's gonna happen after that. Yeah. So you're gonna get insulted.
Yeah.
I'd be curious to know. I'd be curious to know if he's gonna have a response to his own comments, because I'm sure he's gonna get lit up in the Twitter sphere. One thing about a lot of these guys that I respect is like they don't care, man. Like this guy's not
sure.
He said what he wanted to say, and in some ways, maybe that's what the Congress is for. Maybe those kind of debates happen a lot more, and someone just happened to have their Twitter on. But I just, and like, who still has Twitter though, for real? But, I just maybe that argument needs to happen though.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. All I know is it, like you said, it comes down to this really odd thing. This club, which we see also in a microcosm of each or many tribal nations or confederacies.
Oh, I thought you were going to say mini Wachoni.
Mini Wachoni. No. You see these clubs, and everybody knows it, and it's just everybody's fighting for scraps of the federal pie. Meanwhile, and these other people that you're talking about, we do our business. We do our business. We do the things that are listed on this list, minus some of the things, right? We don't really need to demonstrate our identity to anybody. We just do it. We're living it, and our communities and our groups that are cohesive in that particular way, they don't need to be defined. They're defined in the things and the actions that we do. We don't need to send a governing document to anybody to say this is how we exist as a cultural people. We don't need to prove that through documentation that lines out how we govern or anything like that. We don't keep a list of those who are participants in our cultural pursuits. That none of that exists. So all this criteria that's put forth and that gets you into the club is really sort of the antithesis of what a tribe is and ought to be, I think, anyway. So I think that's weird when I read this mission of this Congress is, to secure traditional laws, cultures, and way of life. It seems backwards. It seems like it's securing the traditional laws and cultures from 1936 forward. The New Deal. The Constitution that all these tribes get to have, and you could get to be just like a small America. That's what it seems like to me, and I think that's wrong. So you're right. I think if you're state recognized, man, don't worry about it. And some researchers and authors have suggested that probably the biggest motivation to get federally recognized is so these tribes can build a casino. And I don't know if that's true or not. I don't know what the motivation is.
It seems like, I don't know. I guess it's just hard to, so dang political. I just noticed that there are tribes that get real mad. They do have that type of income and I think what's hard, it's hard to understand because where we come from, none of us have had that. None of us had that type of income coming in and just like this huge influx of money. Like none of us have had that where we're from, right? So it's like, it feels like it's hard to deny that that's a
Right.
factor.
Right. Right. Yeah. Casinos and weed. That seems like some of the driving force behind tribalism today.
All I know is if they want to come into the champagne room, let them in.
Off the cork.
Dude.
Off the cork, man.
Because they're
do you
gonna
got to
get
lose?
into the dance, they're gonna realize, oh, we should have hung out outside. Remember back in the day when you used to party, and you'd be in someone's garage or you'd be on someone's porch and you'd be having a good time partying, and then somebody says, "Let's go check out the bar." Then you go to the bar and then you're like,
Let's go home. Let's go home.
Yeah, dude, we've all been there, right? You remember it. That, to me, that's what it is. It's like the state guys want to come in and join us Fed guys, but then at the same time, we're like, I don't know, should we let them in? It's like, I think they're cool. It's like, all right. I mean, I don't know. Is he gonna bring anything with him, or we gotta like gonna drink up all our stuff?
Yeah.
And it's like, dude, just let them in, because guess what? It's whack in here.
Yeah.
Is he gonna drink up all our stuff?
Yeah, dude. And you know who I'm talking about. No, I'm just
yeah.
kidding.
It's the same person all the time. The mooch.
Yep.
Yeah. Leaves with about 6 or 7 cans in his Levi jacket.
Oh, dude. And he's and then you're giving him a ride.
Oh, yeah.
Give him a ride.
Because he got ditched because nobody wanted him.
Oh my gosh. Dude, I think we're thinking of the same person.
Well, there's many of them. There's many of them.
No, I think one person came to your head.
Oh no, many people. Many. Yeah.
Mini
Michoni. Yeah, that's what it comes down to. I don't know the answer. Well, I do know the answer. I don't know. I guess this is what I don't know is I don't know the feeling that these state recognized tribes have, their reality.
I wonder if someone was to do.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, go ahead.
I wonder if someone was to like scope state tribes and say, what is it you're actually looking for?
Yeah.
Like, what do you think? Is it an identity thing?
Right.
Do you feel like you need to be part of the club, or is it as simple as annuity and subsidies and tax breaks and in that case, just turn your tribe into a nonprofit and then have membership.
Start a cult.
You know, I mean, because I don't know what it is.
No,
I don't quite know. I don't know. I've never been in that. We're also sitting here from the side of that, like.
Right.
I'm an enrolled member of the Crow tribe. Like, so I don't know. I don't know what it's like to be part of a state recognized tribe or anything like that. So, man,
I can imagine the draw to have, dollars to, build housing for your people, or, to reacquire your traditional lands. To develop,
but again, we're jumping ahead of ourselves.
I know.
This is really just about this club.
Okay.
This club.
It's not even about recognition. It's about the club.
It's about the club.
That they want rights to vote in this club. What are they voting for?
I don't know, dude.
I don't know what they're voting for. What are they voting on?
Whether they're gonna have it at the Hard Rock next year or if it's gonna be at Pachanga, dude. I don't know.
Why are we so out of the loop on this? These guys are representing us. Why don't we know?
That's because they're not representing us.
Are we talking about Thanksgiving?
They're not representing us. Well, we've been on this for a while. I think we beat it.
Yeah,
we know that we got all the answers. Just follow what we said, and everything will be cool. No, I don't think so. No, but there's a lot of unknowns. There's a lot of perspectives and
this just happened.
And this just happened, so it's fairly new.
And this just happened.
It did, right? Happened.
Yeah, it just happened. Let's see what happens in the next few days, and then
see if we get canceled. We're not.
No, we didn't say anything too controversial. I said I didn't like a political group.
Yeah,
I think it's pretty clear. Yeah, it's pretty clear.
We didn't say it was mad at his dad.
Okay, well, let's wrap it. You're mad at your dad, not me.
Yeah, you're mad at your dad. All right, let's do it.
Let's
Have
wrap
a good
it here.
night, everybody.